Hello, friends. Welcome to the demo on artificial intelligence. And today's session, we're going to discuss on generative AI. So this is a very practical demo. So please be very careful that this is a very practical hands-on demo. So within 1 hour time, we will be learning so many things. So please stay till the end. So what I'm going to talk is on generative AI. And in our course, we will be talking on generative AI, agentic AI, deep learning models, which are responsible for creating applications using generative AI and so on. So we will go in a great depth about practical applications of these technologies. But today's demo is primarily focusing on giving an intuition about what is generative AI, how it can be used in our real life. So, as the name suggests, it is generative in nature. So, we are trying to create something. Now, what are we trying to create? We are trying to create either some text or we are trying to create some images or we are trying to create some videos and so on. Things are possible. These are called as multi-modal. It can be a combination of text, images, and videos, or any one of them. In a generative AI application, we try to access a front-end application. You can write some text, and then that will create writing some text, and that will create some huge amount of text. And this generally a user will be interacting with this application. And this generally talks to a LLM in the backend. Now, what is an LLM? LLM is called as a large language model. Here, large talks about lot of data. Data is in terms of billions of parameters. Billions of parameters, or we can also call it as tokens or words. So many words, billions of words are being utilized for constructing this output. A language here suggests this is a natural language understanding model. And it is trained on primarily in a language mode. So you can train it using English, Hindi, Telugu, Spanish, or any other kind of a language. And using a lot of those things, this particular model is trained. A model finally is nothing but a statistical output. You can think that this is an executable. It is an executable which can be run. It is trained over large volumes of data and it is trained using a natural language text or images or videos at some kind of a format. And a final output is created, and that output is basically an executable. You can run this executable using any of your external systems. So let us quickly see one of our very familiar similar tooling, right? So like ChatGPT. So I can go to your favorite browser, and you might be familiar with ChatGPT. So I can enter ChatGPT. It opens like this. So what's on your agenda today? For example, I say I want to create an image of an South Indian king. Okay. I can give style, Bahubali style. Okay. Uh, Create a prompt for Google Nano Banana. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Google Nano Banana, but if you are not, this session will help you understand it. It's a very powerful tool. So we're going to look at it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a prompt, which is an input to your model. It is very essential to have a prompt in a much detailed manner so that you could get beautiful outputs. So here I'm using ChatGPT for not creating an image, but for creating a prompt for an image. So I want to create an image of a South Indian king. So I've already mentioned my intent, and then create a prompt for Google Nano Banana in a detailed fashion, including camera angles, lighting, setting of the scene, etc. All right. So I'm just writing in a plain English, and this is the ChatGPT application. So if I write this, there you go. You see that it is going to write us a very detailed prompt. So image prompt. This is an image prompt, a majestic South Indian king inspired Bahubali cinematic style. And if I go so up till here, you will have the style and the tone and look and feel. All that stuff is provided here. So this is a very detailed prompt. So when you give a prompt, it has to be as detailed as possible so that it can generate very detailed image as well. Generally, we don't give that kind of a detailed prompting. So what I do is I do a double LLM utilization. The first LLM will help us to create a prompt very detailed fashion, and this can be used for any application, right? So it's not just for creating images, but it can also be used for any other application. So I copy this prompt and I go to another browser, which is Gemini.google.com. So Gemini.google.com, this is a a model which is using the Gemini 2.5 Flash. You can create images. You see a little banana symbol. This is the Nano Banana, which was released recently, a couple of months back, and it took the world by storm because you can create very vivid images using this. So I can go and give this entire prompt to this, and then I can run it. It will take few seconds for creating that. So as you see, it is creating a majestic South Indian king inspired by Bahubali style, standing in an ancient stone fortress outlooking his kingdom. As you see, this is how it has created a muscular look and feel king. And if you see, there are like big statues in the back end. So it has created this kind of a look and feel. So there is a golden sunset kind of a look and feel coming here, right? So this is how the image looks like. I have I have not given like he is wearing a helmet, he is having a golden armor, his muscular build. And then, I did not mention any of this, but it understood from my basic prompt, and I said like style should be set to Bahubali, and then it was able to create this kind of a output. Now, this is very familiar. You might say, Sitaram, this is all I know. What is that thing we were trying to learn here? What we're trying to learn here is we are trying to mimic this understanding of a user, which is me, an application, which is ChatGPT, and a model, which is behind the ChatGPT, which is GPT-5. Or if you take Gemini, in this case, the model is Gemini 2.5 Flash. This is the model which was used for generating that wonderful image. So type of these models, we have two type of models. One is the closed source models, or we can also call as frontier models. The models from OpenAI, like GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT-4o mini. Likewise, these are all the OpenAI set of models. Similarly, we have Gemini models, Gemini from Google. Models are like Gemini 2.5 Pro, 2.5 Flash. Likewise, we have also 1.5 models. We also have Anthropic models. Anthropic set of models are Claude, Claude 4.5, Claude 4 models, Haiku models, Haiku 4.5, and Haiku 4. Likewise, we have these closed source models, which are operated using a pay-as-you-go model. Right? So you pay as you go, you utilize their API, and then depending upon the utilization is by the number of tokens you utilize, the number of input tokens and number of output tokens. And the number of input output tokens you utilize, you pay to them. The second one are the open source models. Now, these are the ones we are going to look now. So we have the similar open source models. We have Llama models from Meta. We have Gemma models, Gemma from Google. We have GPT OSS models from OpenAI. Similarly, I have Qwen model from Alibaba. Likewise, there are so many Mistral models and lot many out there, but these are some of the popular ones. Open source models. Now, you do not have to pay for these models, but for utilization of the models, you need to host it somewhere. You need to run it from somewhere, host it either uh, Either you have to host it locally or remotely. All right. So we have spent like what, 15 minutes. We're just understanding the entire construct of how these models, how generative AI was used. We took an example of ChatGPT and Gemini based models, and we understood that there are closed source models and then open source models. Now I will take you to a website which can help us to run some open source models where you don't have to spend any money. So you have to go to our favorite website and enter olama.com. There you go. So you enter the website name called as olama.com, and this opens up this website. It's a website which will help us to download a package, a library called as Olama. Olama will help us to run open source LLMs from our local. All right. So here you see, if you go and click on this download button, it will open up the download page. It will say download Olama, depending upon your OS, whether you are on Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. I'm on Windows. So if you are on Windows, it will show you this kind of download button, download for Windows. And once you download the Windows package, it will take few minutes depending upon your internet speed, and it will download a package. It's an executable. You run that executable, and once it is completed, once you install the installation of the Olama, it will run on the bottom right side. If you're on Windows, it will run on the bottom right side. There will be a small llama symbol. As you see, this is the llama symbol. You will see a small llama symbol running on the bottom right side of your machine with a blue color indication that that is active. If you are on Mac, it will be running the same llama symbol on the top right corner of your, you know, of your applications tray. So it basically runs on the top right corner. And again, it will also show the small application symbol that the llama is running. So that is how you verify whether your application is running or not. You can also verify by opening your command prompt. So I've opened a command prompt here on my local, and I can type Olama. When I type Olama, you will see a lot of commands like this. When you're seeing all these commands, then you can be sure that your Olama is running on your machine and you're able to do LLM-based applications with this machine. All right, so far so clear. I will repeat. We will go to the Olama website. Once I go to the Olama website, you can go to the download. You have to install this download package, download for either for Windows or Mac. And then you install that. And once you install, to verify it, you can just type Olama on your machine. And then it should show these kind of commands: start Olama, create a model from model file, show information, all those things. If you're able to see this, then you're good to go. Now, once this is done, we will go back to the models. Here we have the models. The models are basically the LLMs which we have just saw, the open source LLMs. And recently, OpenAI has released its open source LLM called as GPT OSS. If I click on it, you see a GPT OSS, which is released a month back. It's a very, very latest model. And we are also working on the latest and the greatest models available in the market. The GPT OSS is an open source version of ChatGPT. There was a huge pressure in the market because there were a lot of open source version of models being released by ML.
Sitaram, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sitaram, can you let us know what are the courses that we need to get trained uh, uh, for starting our career as an AI programmer or machine learning?
Yes, yes. I'll provide you all the details, but for now, I think we are trying to understand what is the possibility.
I hope everyone is known of this introduction, Sitaram. So our main motto is what are the things that we need to get trained for learning the machine learning and, as you said, LLM and ML languages. So,
Yes, all those things will be covered, Jitu.
okay.
What I'm trying to show now is we are trying to get into the subject rather than uh,
I hope everyone in this meeting was aware of this introduction, Sitaram.
is it?
So,
Can we get some feedback? Can somebody put in the chat window if you are all familiar with this, then I will go. Or if you are liking this style, you can just say like, please continue or something like that. Can everyone please put your feedback?
Hi, Sitaram. So my understanding is you're given introduction about that one, how to utilize it, this AI in online. That is your motto to show this one.
Yes, yes. The
In
first session we wanted to show, and once I show, then we will break it down like, okay, for doing this, what all is required.
Okay, okay.
Uh, See, even if you guys are not familiar with this, guys, please, spend around 15 minutes from now. And then after that, we'll discuss, okay, what all things are required for learning this and all that stuff. Okay? Is that okay? I do see there are a few continue. I'll open up for discussion probably, now in my time it is 6:55. I'll spend around 15 more minutes, and then we'll open up for discussion. I'll talk about details about what all we need to learn, which languages we need to learn, how much time we need to spend, all those things. I'll clarify the basic doubts. All right. Um, See, even if you're not understanding this, but let us just like sit in a relaxed mode and then see what is happening so that eventually you'll get to know. All right. No, what I was talking was on the GPT model, the model which is behind the ChatGPT. It was a proprietary model. It was released as an open source so that everybody can download it and use it. It's called as GPT OSS. And there was a lot of pressure. I was talking that a lot of other companies are releasing open source. So there was a lot of pressure for OpenAI also to come up with their open source version. And if you look at the model here, it's 20B. That means that the 20 billion parameters are being used for training this model. GPT OSS 20B means it's a 20 billion parameter model, and it will take around 14 GB of space in my machine. So imagine I have a 32 GB RAM, a laptop, then I will be able to comfortably run this model. If at all I have a 16 GB RAM, I will not be able to run this model because 14 GB itself will be consumed by the RAM to run this model. So regular laptops cannot run these models, the GPT OSS models. You need to have a very decent high-end computing machines, at least 24 gigs or 32 gigs of RAM should be there. But there are other models. So I'll go back to the models and then I'll show you the other models. For example, a DeepSeek model released a couple of months back. And when it was released, it took the entire NVIDIA down, right? So NVIDIA stock completely came down because DeepSeek said that when it released, it just used CPU machines instead of GPU machines. And NVIDIA was always portraying that for running these AI models, we need high-end GPU machines, but that was not a case in the case of DeepSeek. So if you look at one of the DeepSeek model, the DeepSeek 1.5 billion parameter model, it just takes 1.1 GB. So imagine I have an 8 GB machine. I will be able to comfortably run this model, 1.1 GB model on my machine, and I will be able to do a lot of things which we are able to do with ChatGPT and so on.
Sridhar, I'm just curious, the size refers to the hard disk space or the RAM?
The RAM space. Both.
But it specifically says the size, so I'm curious, like if it is RAM or the size of the hard disk.
Yeah, both actually. So once I download it, generally gets onto our hard disk. But when I'm executing the model, it will occupy the RAM space. So
Okay.
it needs to have, ideally it needs to have the RAM capability. All right. So if you see the other models, if you take latest instance, the default is 8 billion parameter model, which consumes around 5.2 GB of space. 4.7 GB of space is consumed for a 7 billion parameter model. And comfortably, we can run the 1.5 billion parameter model, which will take around 1.1 GB. I'll quickly show you the Google model also, which is called as Gemma 3 model. Gemma 3 model is the one which I will use it. If you look at it, there is a 270 million parameter model, which just consumes 292 MB. And 1 billion parameter model, it consumes around 815 megabytes. So comfortably, I can run if I have even a 4 GB 4 GB RAM machine, I will be able to comfortably run these models. Now, how do I run the model? You have to go and type Ollama run and the model name. Here, if you want to run, say, 1 billion parameter, you copy this and go to your command line prompt. Let me clear it. And you run Ollama run and the model name Gemma 3 colon 1 billion. This is the 1 billion parameter model. So what I'm doing, we just spend 3 minutes. And in the 3 minutes, I am just showing you like I can run this Ollama model, the Gemma model in my command line prompt. And there you go, the ChatGPT kind of model is running on my local machine. I can ask questions like, who are you? And there you go, it quickly responds saying that I am Gemma, a large language model created by Gemma team at Google DeepMind. And I'm an open weights model and free to use. So I can say what all you can do. And then when I say that, it responds saying that I'm a text generation, creative writing model. I can do tasks and information gathering. I can answer questions, do translations, do code generations, and all those things. Right? So I can go and do a lot of things, and it will be able to respond to my questions. But there is no fun in doing any operations with a command line prompt, but can we write a small program where I can go and invoke it via a program? Now, this is where I'm switching gears. It will get even tougher, but please bear with me. We'll spend 15 minutes. I'll show you some code where we are going to invoke the Ollama model from local using a Python code. You need to understand Python code for this. After this, I'll talk about what all things you need, but just look at it like what is going to happen. I will explain each and every line. So the first, this is using a Visual Studio Code. This is called as an IPython notebook, primarily used for doing AI-based programming, typically called as a Jupyter Notebook and things like that. In the first cell, I'm importing some libraries. There is a library which I'm importing for displaying the output. It displays the output in a markdown. So what is a markdown? If I go here, you see that there are these asterisks, stars, and so on. So the output is in these asterisks, stars. And basically, double asterisk is like for bolded characters, like single asterisk, if you see it, is for bullet points, and so on. So there is some standard in which you can display the output so that it is nicely formatted and you could see a nice output. So I want to display a markdown. So for that, I use the first line. I use the Ollama library for loading the model and invoking the model. We also use the Ollama's chat function for actually calling the model. So I'll show you that code, but that is used for Ollama. And there is another interesting library for creating a small UI. And that library is called as Gradio. And I can say import Gradio as GR. This is a shortcut for that. Okay, 3 libraries, one for displaying my message, second one is for running my model, third one is creating a small little UI. If I run on this play button, it will execute, it will take a few seconds, and then it will execute the model. I will be using the same Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. I initialize this as model, and that's the one I use. I also have these other models on my local. I can use the Llama model from Meta or the DeepSeek model 1.5 billion parameter model. I can do the comparisons and all that stuff. But for now, I'm using the Gamma 3 model. Now, when I'm talking to the model, when I'm talking to this large language model, the LLM, in ChatGPT, I'm giving like, okay, create an image of so and so and so on. That is called as a user prompt. We need to talk to the model by providing 2 prompts. First prompt is called as the system prompt, which generally when we are talking to end applications like ChatGPT or Gemini models or any other models, we don't give. Internally, the applications will construct a system prompt for the models. But when we are using an API, we need to provide 2 prompts. First is the system prompt, which tells like what the model has to do. What is the boundaries of the model? What is the structure of the model? What all things it is capable of doing? If there are any rules and instructions, all those things have to be provided in the system prompt. Here I'm not doing all those things. I'm just saying you are a helpful AI assistant. That is a system prompt. And the user prompt, I'm telling that, okay, show me a recipe for biryani. That's what in the user prompt. So these are the 2 prompts. And how do I invoke the prompt? I can invoke the prompt using the chat function of my Ollama method. So ollama.chat, it expects 2 things. One is, what is the model? I'm using the model, the Llama model, which we initialized previously. And what are the messages? Like messages are nothing but the input prompts, which we are giving to the model. It will have a certain style in which we have to provide these messages. This is called as an OpenAI standard. OpenAI standard looks like this. It will say what is the role, role is system, and what is the message? The message is the system prompt. What is the role? Role is user. What is the message? And message is the user prompt. What is the user prompt? User prompt is nothing but show me the recipe for biryani. And once you run this model will get a response. And the response is a huge response. Within that, we have sections. And within response, you have something called as message. Within message, you have something called as content that can be displayed using the markdown. So if I run it, you see that it will take a few minutes. I sip a little bit of water. So it is taking a few minutes, around 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and so on, to give me a response. Of course, cooking biryani is very hard, so it is okay that it takes 27 seconds. So it took 27 seconds, and it is nicely giving. You see a formatting style. So you see bullet points, sub-bullet points, then you have bold characters and all that stuff. This is called as the markdown. And it is giving all details like what are the ingredients, the biryani base, the gravy, and the garnish, instructions, and all that stuff. So we spent around 10 minutes from the time we understood, and we are able to see that it is able to invoke the model using code, and I'm able to create a very nice output. Now let us switch gears further, and I want to create a UI for doing all these things. Okay, so I'll create a small function called as a shout function. And what this function to test the UI is like, if I give anything in the function, it will convert into an uppercase. That's what it is doing, a small function. So if I say a small hello, it will convert into a capital hello, right? That's what it is going to do. And what I want to do is I want to use the Gradio library, the Gradio's interface function, which will request a function name, which is the shout function, and it will tell what is the input to the shout function and what is the output from the shout function. And when I run this line, it is going to launch a website. This is how going to look at it. And if I click that, it looks like this. And I say, wonderful. And there is a UI which is ready for us. And now this UI is doing small things. It is just converting a small case into a capital case, right? So uppercase. And this is okay, but I'm able to look at UI. Within 5 more minutes, we are able to say like, okay, I was able to create a UI, and this is really good. Can we go and add more color to this? So I'll just show you another code where instead of the shout function, I will wrap the Olama function, which we just run before, into a message GPT function. Nothing, we're not doing anything great. We are saying that whatever function which I run, Olama chat, that I'm wrapping under a message GPT function. So once I run it, and I will run the Gradio interface, instead of the shout function, I am giving message GPT, and in the input text box, whatever you are giving as an input, that goes into the input text box. Whatever comes from the message GPT, that comes in the output text box. And we have given some little lines, like 6 lines for input, 8 lines for output. If I show you, this is how it looks like. As you see, you have 6 lines for input. This is the input text box, and this is the output text box. I can ask any question like, what is an LLM? And I submit, and it will take some time. It will take few seconds, 8, 9, 10 seconds for getting the response. Okay, so we have spent another 5 minutes, and we are able to see that there is a ChatGPT-like interface which is already created. And
Sorry, I didn't get that. The internet isn't reachable.
if you have a question, you can unmute, or else please go on mute. All right. So here we are seeing that it is responding in a markdown script, but output I am showing in a text. That's the reason it is showing all this asterisks and all that stuff. And one other thing which we saw that is that I have to wait for 10 seconds. Imagine I ask the same question about biryani, I might have to wait for 20 seconds. So those things, it is taking time. So instead of taking time, can I get instantaneous output? So for that, I can go and create another function. I call it as a stream GPT. So stream GPT is again a small change to the previous function. I will add one single line called as stream is equals to true. Now, why I'm adding this? Because, instead of me waiting for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, I want instantaneous answer like the ChatGPT or Gemini models. I want instantaneous answer. So that can be achieved by using the streaming. I just have to say stream is equals to true. But when the stream is true, it will give answer in a streaming fashion. And I have to collect the answer in streaming fashion also. So it comes instead of a one single answer, it comes as a chunk. So I have to change my output in such a way that I have to iterate through the chunks and collect the result and yield the result. Don't worry about the code, what is it doing, but just understand what we are intending to do. Okay. So I don't want to wait for my answer. So I have initialized stream is equals to true and everything else is same. So we are having the same messages, the same model, the Olama chat function, everything is same, but just the output message is changing. The reason is that it is iterating because it is streaming. Streaming is coming in a real-time fashion, one message out of the other. So when it is coming in the real-time fashion, I have to collect the chunks and display the chunks as and when they are coming. So for that, we have to yield the result. It's called as yielding. And this is the small code change. And if I run it, I go back to the same function, but instead of message GPT, we will be using stream GPT. So it is running, it opened up another terminal, but I will open this another link. I want to show you this second link. And now I'm getting a nice website. On the right side, you don't see anything, but because this is a markdown style, I can write the same question. What is an LLM? And if I hit enter, you see on the right side, as you see, it is showing me the answer. It is showing in a markdown script, and that's the reason you see this bold characters and all that stuff. All right. So we spent around 15 more minutes as I promised, and you are able to see that a very, very lively website. And I want you to click on the link which I pasted on the chat window and confirm if you are able to see this website on your favorite browser as well. And if you're able to see it, please enter any question which you generally ask any ChatGPT. And let me know if you are able to get answer. Please bear for a few seconds because this is you all guys might be bombarding it, so it will spend some time. Let me ask another question. I want to travel to USA for 2 weeks. Please suggest suitable plan. Covering.
Sitaram, what about the Hugging Face? Is it same like a OLM?
Yeah, it's also same. Yeah, we'll understand those things also, how Hugging Face is different for Olama and all that stuff. But yes, it is also another another library which we can use. All right, I hope you guys have tried it, clicking the link and asking any questions, but I tried another question. I wish to travel to US for 2 weeks on a vacation, and I'm asking it to cover some important places. And there you go. It shows me that you must have to go to New York City, go to Statue of Liberty or whatever it is, and then Chicago, Los Angeles, and that's it. I think just 3 places. Right? For 2 weeks, I think 3 places are good enough. All right. So what we spend around 45 minutes, guys. We started around 6:30, 6:35. We spend around exactly 45 minutes. And in 45 minutes, what we have done is we understood the nuances of ChatGPT and Gemini. We understood that there is a front-end application, there is a back-end model. We understood the differences between open source and closed source models. And then we saw that how I can use an open source model in my local using Olama library. And then we switched gears towards writing a code where I can simply create a website like this, where I can ask anything and I will be able to run this model, and it is available for me locally. Why this is important for enterprises is because enterprises do not want to compromise on security, specifically for some applications which involve legal and compliance related stuff. They don't want to push their data outside of their environment, outside of their premises. And for such kind of things, such kind of local models are very, very essential. All right, so let me spend another 5 minutes. I will tell about what all things which are required for doing all these things. So in our course, we will be covering a lot of things. I will start covering something called as Python for AI. Now this will cover all the basics of the Python language. The go-to language which we'll be using is Python. We will cover all the libraries. Here I am not covering like how do you write functions in Python, what is OOPS concepts in Python, how do you define classes. So that is not what we are going to cover, but we are going to cover all the libraries for doing data science, AI, machine learning, those kind of things. We will be covering those things in the first few weeks. After we are done with that, we will go into something called as classical machine learning. Now, this is very, very essential because nowadays there is a lot of hype around generative AI and agentic AI and so on. But the classical machine learning, which involves in supervised, unsupervised models, these are very, very essential for generating revenue. In the third section, we will cover generative AI. We just saw a glimpse of it, but this is just trailer. You're going to see a huge picture. And then we will cover agentic AI. We will then end with ML ops or LLM ops. How do you productionize these models like generative AI or machine learning? How do you productionize? And then cloud computing. Cloud computing for AI. This is where you cover like all the famous clouds. It can be AWS, GCP, Azure. One or two clouds we will cover, not all of them, but one or two clouds. We will see how do we do deploying of machine learning models, running generative AI applications using the cloud. This entire thing will consume 2.5 months. It will take your time, 2.5 months of your time, 6 days a week. 45 minutes plus 15 minutes. 45 minutes of course plus 10 to 15 minutes of query resolution. Classes will be conducted at 7 a.m. IST. So depending upon your time zone, if you are in EST, CST, PST, whatever ST, you can figure out that corresponding time. So in my watch, it is 7:21 a.m. The class will be from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm in India, so I'm talking according to my timing. So you can map it accordingly. Right, so 2.5 months daily, 6 days a week. Then we'll be conducting 45 minutes of pure content. And then if you have questions, of course, I'll give you another minute or so for asking any questions. And then every day, 7 a.m., 1 hour. And apart from that, I would request you spend 5 hours extra every week for learning on your own. Okay, of course, we will be giving assignments, we'll be giving all those things. The recordings will be shared, the materials will be shared, all those things will be shared. But it will be like a very nice movie. You're just like listening to it, and you'll get all the dopamine surges and all that stuff. It'll feel good, but unless until you get into the game, you will not understand. And everybody's pace is different, guys. Somebody requires a little more practice. Someone just by listening to the video, they'll get the nuances and so on. So it depends from person to person, and I would encourage we understand our speed and analyze that, and based on that, combine your learning. All right, so you're open for questions. We'll spend around 15-20 minutes. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. We spend around 1 hour.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sitaram. This is Venkat. So it's what you created finally. The link looks like is a ChatGPT. We are open that one asking the questions, but we have created our customized one. and getting data from it's from ChatGPT or Gemini from there, or we have to give the input data also. How it will work? It's so
It is
my
using
understanding.
it is using the Gemma model, which is already pre-trained open source model by Gemini.
Okay, so this URL is my understanding. If we have any application or any system, so if we have any application or system that will be, if there is a requirement to create the AI questions for the our application point of view or something, then we can use this way of to create the URL. That's what
Correct.
my understanding.
One of the
Is it
application
correct?
is, imagine, as you're saying, I want to create a local application which can
AI.
at my local AI, local AI,
Oh,
which can look
okay.
at my Confluence pages, which can look at
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
internal documents, legal compliance, HR policies, and so on. And it should be able to work on that data.
I
And
got
I
it. I
want to
got it.
use a local LLM hosted on my own machine. Maybe it will be a big machine. You'll be hosting on, say, a very high-end computing machine with multi-node capabilities for auto scaling and all that stuff. But forget about
Okay.
that. But
I
that
got
is
it. Got
how.
it. So both the same page. I'm understanding it different. That's what my I asked these questions. Thanks for giving answer. Okay,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah. Hey, Sitaram, I question. The thing is like, if we compare
We
with the closed, hello?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, if we compare with the closed models, there are like petabytes of data, and as per you, the local LLMs, like I mean, that could be like OpenAI, Gemini, or something. So they don't contact means they don't do a web search. There are no MCs or nothing is configured. So my
Mhm.
question is like, it's hardly like 3.5 GB or the highest I see is like 420 gigs of data. So how it's means it's less efficient, or it's these models are more over like for us to train our own data, or how it's compared to the closed models, which are like petabytes of data that's are being pre-trained and everything.
Okay, so I'll break your questions into a couple of things. So first one, you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about open source and closed source model, how powerful the open source versus closed source. Closed
Yep.
source are very powerful. They are trained on billions of parameters. Now they are knowing the world knowledge. So it is agreeable that, it knows everything. But when our application is concerned, then we need to understand whether it should talk about history, medical science, genomic science, and earth geology, politics, entertainment. Should it need to know about that or not is a question. So if our application is constrained towards doing smaller capabilities and things like that, then using a heavy large language model will be a overkill. Correct? So
Mm.
our smaller models, we will evaluate the smaller models. Whether, imagine I use a 1 billion parameter model, is it good enough? Or if I go to 3 billion parameter, it is better. Or if I go to a 5 billion parameter, it is even better. Should be so that kind of a trade-off will be evaluated while building the application. And maybe we might not need a OpenAI's ChatGPT 5 model, because that was never a requirement. Okay, if at all it was a requirement, then we will go for such kind of models. For example, if I want to do real-time coding, code copilot, local copilot for doing heavy coding, then I would like to go for models like GPT, Anthropic Claude models, which are very powerful in doing heavy end coding. Now I can write coding in mainframe, I can write code
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to check with them. Just give me seconds.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, there was a blip in the internet. I just want to check if you guys are able to hear me now.
Yep.
So I'm not sure till what point I was talking about the need, right? So
Yeah.
need of the application. If it needs high-end computing, if it needs more information and all that stuff, then you go for those closed source models. If the need is very minimal, very focused, then you don't need high-end models. It will be a overkill.
So technically, you are telling like if I do some if I tell like could generate me a UI and after in 5 days or something that way, it will not be using the latest ones. It could be the outdated one, or means it will not include the latest enhancements, right?
Yeah, so there is one other problem with these models is that they are
Mhm.
having a knowledge cutoff date. That means that they are trained a few months back, right? So there is a knowledge cutoff date. And and then, for example, let me go and ask the here. I'll say what is today's date? I'm asking what is today's date? Today's date is November 2nd, 2023.
Okay.
2 years back, right? Now, today is November 15th, 2025. And it is saying today is November 2nd, 2023. This is like the Gajini movie. It is still in that old era. The
So
thing is,
that
this is,
gets.
yeah. So what
That
I'm,
gets to me the final question. So we are using the AI or Gen AI or something that way for the latest or quality or the what you say the performance oriented way, right? Means if I ask some coding or something that way, it should get me a latest one and give me that. So how these closed models are beneficial for me, even though it's not a overkill or something, but even telling that write me a latest Node.js code, so React code or some code, it will be using the 2023 model,
yeah.
old technologies, right?
If you take any model, even if you take the GPT-5 model, the
Uh-huh.
GPT-5 model, if I ask the same question there, let me ask in ChatGPT.
Yeah, but it does a web search. That's the only benefit for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing that, but basically it is giving this from web search.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask the actual underlying model, right, it will give
Mm-hmm.
a old training
Yeah.
the trained model date. So that's where, as you said, the answer is that. So uh, it has to have a combination. I'm not able to see the screen. Okay, sorry, I am not sharing. Yeah. So I'm asking ChatGPT, it is telling 15. And I then asked this model, right? So I've asked our model, what is the date? And it gave November 2nd, 2023. Okay. So what I'm saying is, yes, there are some techniques in which you have to embed your LLM knowledge along with uh, web information. There are techniques like RAG, which is called as a retrieval augmented generation, which will feed more information from known sources. So it will complement the information which is already known by the LLM. It will add additional information. For example, if I ask like who won the Women's Cricket World Cup, it will not say it. It will say like probably the World Cup did not happen yet, right? So that has to have some information complementing. There are multiple techniques. Now, if I tell all of them, it will be overwhelming. But understand that there are techniques like RAG. We can do fine tuning. We can also augment with tools like web search tools and so on to make it work latest.
Okay. Thank you.
But it is very essential for us to understand those limitations, right? We are understanding those limitations, and then we have to create solutions to those limitations. That's the work of AI folks. Any other questions? Right. So did it cover? I think earlier I don't remember. Was it
Me, sorry.
was it Jitu or
Yes, Sitaram. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, for initial, we need to learn any language like Python or Java, and these are the language that initially we need to learn. After
Correct.
that, we need to get trained in machine learning, right?
Correct. So this is the sequence. We will need
Mm.
to learn Python, have a basic understanding of Python, then get into and doing machine learning, supervised, unsupervised, then get into
Python is a compulsory, or else only on behalf of Python can we learn Java or C++?
Python is now the de facto standard for doing AI. We can also do with Java, but the availability of libraries and other things are very minimal. So it will require a lot of time, effort for building something
Okay.
like whatever we did within half an hour, right? It will not be able to do it.
Mhm. So what about then C++?
C++ even memory efficient, but again, the libraries are not there. So Python is used as a core engine for that.
Okay. So
Ah.
coming to machine learning, I mean, is there any uh, different type of what we can say is like operating systems? We have Windows as one operating system, and there are any different types of machine learnings.
Yeah, different types of models are there.
Mhm.
From a OS perspective, you can run it on any OS, Windows, Linux, and so on. But there are different types of models. Within supervised, there are some tons of models, hundreds of models are there. We will be learning the important ones which are used in the industry, right? So those models we will learn.
Can
Similarly,
you specify any few model names that are
yeah.
industry?
So we will be using models like decision tree, k-nearest neighbors, random forest, support vector machine, XGBoost, gradient boosting machines, neural network models. So these are the models which we are going to learn. I just named a few, but there are more.
Okay.
But these are the models we will be learning during the course.
Okay.
Alright.
Sitaram, one last question. It's like you will be teaching the LangChain and everything, LangGraph as part of this, or it's a separate one?
The LangChain, LangGraph are part of this. So we'll
Okay. Yeah,
cover
I
them.
don't.
Yeah. Here I'm just writing like very simple structured of what we are trying to learn. In
Mm-hmm.
generative AI, we'll be learning
Okay.
LangGraph. In agentic AI, we'll be learning tools like N8N, Diffie, and then we'll learn like agentic tools like Crew AI, Agno, all those
Mm.
things we're learning part of that.
Okay. Thanks.
And this space is also moving at a very rapid pace. What I am doing for my other batches, so I run two batches, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. For my other batches, as and when something new comes up, we are trying to analyze that and then we take sessions on that. Because even part of my work, it is required because we have to analyze or evaluate newer toolings coming in the market and implement as a part of my work. So I'm trying to share the same knowledge with users as well.
So generative AI, we will teach all the generative AI models, or else only.
Generative AI, again, there are a lot of models. What we'll learn is we'll learn both open source, closed source models. We'll learn OpenAI models. We'll learn closed source models. We'll learn OpenAI based models. We will learn Gemini based models, Anthropic Claude models. How to invoke those models, we will learn them. But once you know one type of model, it is like similar for other models as well. We will learn Grok models, like how to invoke Grok models and so on. So,
Oh.
yeah. All right. Any other questions? Please let me know your feedback. If it is overwhelming, let me know so that I can tune it accordingly. But certainly, I feel that this way is very helpful because we are cutting the fluff or unwanted things and directly getting into the core of the subject. While it can feel a little pinch in the starting, but as we are accustomed to this way of doing things, we will learn more and we will get the best benefit of our time. And believe me, my way of teaching is more extempore in fashion. As you see, I will be using this blue board. And then as and when there are questions coming up, any doubts coming up, we will be going through learning those topics. So it will be more like an interactive way I would recommend so that we will learn mostly by learning. Or else these similar kind of materials, same kind of courses are already available in Udemy and other places. The only point I am here is more valuable is you will get that instantaneous understanding, response, and so on. So we want to make maximum benefit of that, and I'm very much geared towards that. All right. So if you have any further questions, we'll spend 5 more minutes and then can close the session.
Yeah, I have a one question. So, do we need to get the more like on the statistical way, on the standard, like the foundation level, or based on the models, we can understand what exactly it is happening, or
It is good to know. We will cover a little bit on when we are covering machine learning and other stuff. But
okay.
statistics itself is a very deep field. You can
Yeah,
spend like couple of months just understanding the statistical formulation, mathematical part of it and all. It is good to know. I will give some additional materials which will help you to understand all those things. So whoever is interested can do it. But nowadays, what's happening is we are tending towards vibe coding, the methodology in which you depend on the LLMs for doing coding, architecture, designing, and all that stuff. And in the future, that is going to be the norm. Even if you like it or not, that is going to be the de facto standard. So while understanding foundations is good, but more preference is given to applicability of knowledge. So our course is in somewhere in the middle, maybe a little tilted towards applied AI, but we will cover both of the worlds, but more focused towards applied AI.
got you. Thank you.
One question, what kind of job search we can do for that one once you learn this one? So how to find the jobs as a contract position or how much salary kind of thing? I mean, and the package point of view, how we can see that one?
Yeah, I think it's a very important question you asked. But for that, I have to spend one more session. There is another demo session which I generally give. I would recommend you guys to attend the next session because there I will talk about the entire landscape and then we will be identifying different pockets in which we can target for jobs. So there are data engineering jobs, there is AI engineer jobs, there is data scientist, junior data scientist, senior data scientist, there is ML engineer roles, there is ML tester roles, there is AI product manager roles. So there are like tons of roles are there. Depending upon our previous experience, expertise, understanding, knowledge, and so on, we need to target specific roles. And how do you target? I'll be teaching you through the course. It's not like a one-day thing that I tell, okay, this is the job, this is the salary you get, and this is the geography. We need to do a thorough research based on your expertise and so on. And I would say this is a good time of the year because, of course, it is winding down. The year comes to a halt. Probably people will go into, vacation mode. But right after the course completes, around mid-January, you will complete the course. You will be ready for applying for jobs. Mostly, the newer opportunity starts somewhere in start of the January and so on. So I think you will be in a right positioning for applying for roles. But from now till then, you need to do a lot of research. You need to do understanding. So that I will talk on it.
Thank you.
Hello, Sitaram. So just one question. So for functional people, right, like, I mean, functional roles, right, like a business analyst or a product owner manager, do you recommend any certifications? I know this course would be a little bit overwhelming or like, or maybe enough, a little bit more than enough. So do you recommend any certifications that the functional people could do?
There are no open certifications, but there are cloud-specific certifications for functional roles. For example, by Google Cloud, there is a certification called as Generative AI Leader. It's a basic certification, but it covers the functional aspects of it, like how do you use generative AI, how do you create applications, what ideologies should be followed, and so on. And there are different certifications. I have a different view that, of course, certifications help us get the credibility, but pure hands-on is something which will get us the job and help to sustain in the job. So I give more focus on the practical aspect of it. But yes, there are some certifications. You can search for Generative AI Leader by Google Cloud.
Sure. And just a point that struck my mind while you just clarified on this. So we, as people working in different sectors and different roles and everything, how do we exactly apply, oppose the certification, right? Like if we are applying for new roles, I understand. You said you'll cover it in the later part, or that's for a different conversation. But for people who are already working in some, let's say, some healthcare domain or some government sector or something like that, what do you recommend would be a good next step in terms of proposing something to the management or implementing the generative AI or
Yeah.
anything else?
Again, I can't give a short answer for that. Yesterday, my friend who works in a chip manufacturing company called as Micron, he messaged me. I can show the WhatsApp also, but the idea is same. So he is as a product manager, the lead for the product managing, and then he wanted to bring that kind of AI into the scope. Of course, it is not a direct answer that, okay, put AI here. What we need to know is we need to understand the journey, customer journey, product journey. So that is very essential for a product managing background to understand what are the current pieces and which piece can be complemented with AI. Maybe replace AI, simplify, automate. Different techniques are there. In that we need to understand. So first I would recommend people like you or whoever in this kind of similar kind of thing is to understand the customer journey, product journey, drill down into smaller level pieces. And for that, you need to have an understanding of AI, like what I can complement. You need to have that understanding. Of course, you can get that understanding by doing some courses. Once you know that, then you can say like, okay, I see this pipeline, and in this pipeline, in this workflow, in this automation, this is a piece which is more manual, tedious, and can be automated. There I can use this AI. And that's how it goes. It goes very small, but as and when you increase, it will go and transform the entire product cycle.
Yeah, so the reason I'm asking is like, the moment you propose something or anything, like how you have some regulation or compliance for other people, for other things, like for example, GDPR, SOC, or HIPAA, or anything like that. We don't have any such kind of a guideline for AI, right? For a generative
Yeah.
AI. So, I mean, I did see one of your bookmarks as PhD. I'm assuming like you do a lot of research. Whenever this kind of LLM, whenever this kind of LLM searches for an article or something, you don't get a view on ResearchGate or Google Scholar at all. It just searches
Yes.
and gets you an answer, and the credit doesn't go to the researcher at all. Like,
Yeah, so it's a
but
bigger, yeah, I know where you're coming from. We are in a very early stage of applicability and all that stuff. And I'm doing my double doctorate, one PhD from IIIT Hyderabad, and the second one, a doctorate in business administration from Rushford Business School, where my thesis is exactly on this. How do you incorporate privacy, fairness, and ethics in generative AI, specifically in financial domain? And there is no such regulation, no such standard which is available right now. So it's a moving target. It's as and when we are going towards it, we can't stop also because other companies are already getting onto it. So we need to apply something. So that's what we do in our company also, to identify which all pieces can be complemented, augmented, changed, automated, and then eventually we add AI to it. All right. Apologies. I think this is also a very important topic. We will be covering in the course, but yes, it will take its own time. It's not like a straightforward thing that, okay, this is the regulation, this is the newer thing. It is a moving target at the moment. All right, I hope you guys things are answered. We do have a few more demos. It's not like, okay, one demo, then you register kind of a thing. Please come to the other demos. You will understand a few more things. The second one, which is very important, where I will talk the end-to-end AI lifecycle, where I will talk about different job roles. Please attend that so that you get that understanding. And then if you like things like that, you can register, or if not, there are other important ways to learn this. No problem. All right. Thank you. I'll drop off now. I have another class to attend. So thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram.